And then we made tacos last night, and then I was trying to come up with like a sauce. Avocado, cream cheese, and salsa, which was fine, but it wasn't like wasn't great.
Yeah, cream cheese is a little thick for
sauce. It didn't
Yeah.
melt down the way I wanted it to.
I would do avocado, hot sauce, and ranch,
That would work.
or even just sour cream, I guess.
Greek yogurt.
Yeah, there you go. Greek yogurt's good too, but full fat,
Yeah.
like 5% or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Not none of this zero. I
We
hate that
go
zero shit.
whatever one you go to Aldi and get the red one, not the blue one. The blue one's the fat free.
The fat.
You got to go the
total
whole,
Faye or whatever.
Yeah, you go with the whole fat.
Dean's cottage cheese, 4%, baby.
The hard stuff.
Welcome to our Film Fathers podcast, the definitive podcast about fatherhood, film, and fatherhood in film. This is Jelani, and with me as always are a tall drink of cocksucker and a guy susceptible to flattery. Martin and Brady.
As I lay in the back of Buck's truck, trying to will my limbs out of entropy, I could see the faces of the cunts that did this to me, and the dicks responsible. Members all of the deadly Viper assassination squad. When fortune smiles on something as violent and ugly as revenge, it seems proof like no other that not only does God exist, you're doing his will.
Do you find me sadistic? You know, kiddo, I'd like to believe that you're aware enough, even now, to know that there's nothing sadistic in my actions. At this moment, this is me at my most masochistic.
This week, it's a double feature of sorts. Essentially, it's one movie split up into 2 volumes, but with Quentin Tarantino at the helm, this is not the standard version of showing the whole bloody affair straight through over the course of 2 films. With Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2, the story is laid out for you with time being just another aspect of the features. It also pays homage to so many different movies and genres that it's hard to classify these movies into one particular style. One thing is for sure, this is a Tarantino movie.
It's definitely like everything about Tarantino rolled up into one bloody affair.
It feels like it was, to a degree, it's almost like a Tarantino masterpiece because of how much it pays homage to the kung fu, spaghetti western styles that he obviously is infatuated with.
Yeah.
In a way, and even just reading about it afterwards, it's like almost every scene is something related to another movie that he likes, and it's almost like never ending. It's like how he,
And they're all like B movies.
yeah, oh yeah,
Or C
I'd
movies.
almost never heard any of them.
No, exactly. Yeah. So it's just that's what's great about him is that you just know he loves movies, and he loves a certain kind of movies, and he's
That's what I was gonna
unapologetic
say.
about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he doesn't he likes what he likes, and he finds a way to take some things that are B movies and C movies and make everybody love what he does with it. You know, like when he does it, it becomes a hit. And
Yeah.
these movies were big hits, right? Like
They were pretty
I
big.
feel like
They were very popular, I know, especially because with him, obviously, you kind of wait to get something, and when it came, and then it was going to be 2 different movies broken up.
was
over
it
the
Jackie
course.
Brown and then this, or was there anything in between?
I don't know, because I feel like, was Jackie Brown like 98?
No, it was like 95, I want to say. Maybe 90. Maybe a
No,
little bit
because
later.
wasn't Pulp Fiction 94?
Pulp Fiction was 94. I wanna say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then I feel like Jackie Brown was like 98, and I feel like these are like the early 2000s.
Right. 'cause,
Jackie
this
Brown was
2003.
97, and this was
97.
2000. But they
You're
were
right. You were right.
next. I mean,
They were
it
next,
had
yeah.
been
Yeah.
6 years. So,
Right.
and Pulp Fiction was 3 years prior to that in 94. So it was that there was, I don't want to say a yearning, but there was excitement about new movie coming out. Then one which was going to be broken up into 2. So you're essentially getting guaranteed 2 more movies from him.
Yeah.
I have a quick nerd question,
Yeah.
because you mentioned this in your opening quote. Is entropy the right term?
No.
It's atrophy, right?
Atrophy. Yeah, totally. Entropy is a very different concept.
Right, I'm like-
Second law of thermodynamics.
Are we doing
This
Tenet?
is not Tenet.
Are we rewatching Tenet? I'm waiting for her to go backwards.
I'm
out of
actually
the car.
very glad you asked that.
I
'cause
definitely,
had the
I
same
definitely
thought.
wasn't going to ask it.
Had the same thought, but yes.
Yeah, I wrote that down. I'm like, I think it's atrophy, but okay.
Which you'd have to think was a calculated.
Mistake?
Maybe.
You think that's got through?
I mean, it's not. a way to look at it and say, okay, yeah, muscles and limbs are in entropy too. Like they're not going back to a state better than they were before. So they do entropy in some way, but no, it's
I agree. The common term is atrophy.
atrophy.
Understood. I'm just saying I think they probably put entropy specifically as opposed to accidentally.
I think his point is he's not, Kip Thorne or Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Fair.
Or even Christopher Nolan.
Right.
He's just Quentin Tarantino. So, he's not going to know the physics terms.
Where does Tarantino fall? Are you guys like massive fans? Are you like, I kind of like some of the stuff he does? Obviously, he's a unique person.
He's for sure earned. I will watch every movie he does, and it's only going to be 10. That's famously what he says. He doesn't want to. He doesn't want to be Martin Scorsese. Not that I think he said specifically Martin Scorsese, but he doesn't want to be making movies well into his 80s or whatever. So he thinks he thinks most people have 10 good movies in them, and that's what he wants to do. But I love Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction, and these Inglourious Bastards as well. I probably love these movies. Are very entertaining. I just think they're great for what they are. A lot of fun. So yeah, I enjoy him, but he definitely has had some misses. And actually, I liked Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
So what are his misses?
I didn't. I don't.
I was gonna say
I don't really love The Hateful Eight. That was a big miss for me.
Okay,
that's probably it might be the only one. Django Unchained, I kind of liked, but I only watched it once. I don't know. I never went back to it.
Yeah.
Maybe I should give it another shot. What else has he done?
True Romance.
No, he didn't. He didn't direct.
He wrote it though.
He wrote
but
it.
But
Okay,
yeah,
so
I do like Drew. I do like that as well.
Yeah, because that's right. Tony Scott.
I don't.
Yeah.
I guess I don't hate any.
Pulp
of his
Fiction,
movies.
Jackie Brown. I never saw
Yeah.
Jackie Brown.
Oh, Jackie Brown's great, and it's based on a
Pam Grier, right?
Yep.
yeah Elmore Leonard book, so it's great source material.
Sin City, he's a special guest director. I don't know.
Yeah.
what that
Oh,
means.
and then
Grindhouse and Death
but
Proof.
just the first, just Death Proof. I have to watch that again.
Yeah,
So yeah, I don't hate anything that he. But I feel like
Because Grindhouse is Robert Rodriguez, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
both of them.
Yeah. Well, right, but they each did one.
Yeah.
I think these just catapulted him into huge movies and really long and different than the simplicity and awesomeness of Pulp Fiction. And it's like, it's hard. You can't go back to the director that you were, but I'm glad we have those movies.
But even Pulp Fiction is still a long movie.
Is it?
Is it?
How long is
I
it?
don't
It's
remember.
under 2 hours, I think.
I don't think so. I think it felt longer, and maybe I haven't seen it in a while, but it felt like it was longer than that, just because of the way that he
You're right.
told the story. It's
Two and a half hours.
2 hours, 34 minutes. I
yeah,
had no idea it was that long.
And at that time, that was a pretty big deal in '94.
yeah. That's the only knock I think I have on his films is it's
got a
not,
lot to say?
Yeah, it's not concise. They
Yeah.
are enjoyable. Like I enjoyed watching these, and then
So
Brady,
do we need to ask? Have you seen these before?
I actually own both of
Oh,
these.
well,
and
that
watched
that does not answer my
No,
question.
I have seen both of them before, and I own both of them. But to the Brady metric, the only reason I picked up my phone was to take notes. It wasn't because I was distracted and wanted to do something else. But yes, I feel like his movies are good; they're enjoyable, but they are lengthy, and you have to kind of be in the mood to watch them.
That doesn't. I think I've said it before. Length doesn't bother me. Ayo. If it is entertaining.
Yeah.
Like, make a 4-hour movie. I could have put it all together. If it's entertaining, for me, and I actually made a note during the first one, I felt like even what would be considered the slower parts are really captivating.
Yeah.
And I really, really like these movies. I probably ranked them a lot higher in his resume than most people. I definitely think about them together, even though they're very different and very different movies.
Yeah, which one do you like better?
Well, I think it's a little bit of what you want, right? The first one is definitely more action, kind of nonstop.
Right off the bat,
Even
And
though
that's why I prefer the second one.
even though I literally, that's in the first one is when I made that note, because there are slower scenes in the middle of that, and those probably stand out a little bit, but I still think they're so crucial to what's going on, and I love it, and I just think, I probably like the first one better,
Jelani?
yeah, I think I don't know,
but it's really close for me.
Really close? Okay. more pretty squarely volume 2. I like better.
Yeah, I like the lead up. Like, there was a lot of questions that I wanted to ask. Like, how did he find V in the first place? Like, how did he recruit her? I want to kind of know that.
Like a prequel.
I want to know how she became part of this thing. Then I want to know like when she decided to leave, and why she decided to leave.
Did you not watch Volume 2?
No,
Why she decided
was pretty clear.
to leave. It was
I could-
the exact moment.
Yeah, I could.
When the line turned blue.
Yeah.
Yes, I get no, okay, yes, I got that part. But like through that, like, did she have any inklings of like, was she done with all of this? Was she still going to go and
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she was
I mean,
done.
like that?
It feels like you might have looked at your phone a little bit during Volume 2.
I think she. Yeah, I think that's all pretty clear. I think she loved Bill.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think it was an issue of, you know, wanting to screw him over or break his heart, or that she didn't love him. I think she was literally just like she said with the truth serum. I chose her daughter over Bill because she knew she knew. I think she kind of knew that he would be a good father, but he would also pull her into the life. Like,
Yep.
like he did. You know, he's very honest with her, right? And we're talking about that and scene now, but whatever. Like he tells her about that he shot his mom. He tells her about life and death. And
Yeah.
like he's just very much like I'm not going to bullshit my daughter. I'm not going to
Shogun Assassin before bed.
Yeah, I'm not going to protect her from the life. And that's exactly what Beatrix, what Kiddo didn't want to happen.
Yeah.
Love Carradine in this. He's
My
so
God.
good.
It's so I know that he's known for many movies prior to this. Not in my world.
Not really movies though, just a show, right? Kung Fu.
Was it the show?
And the Legend Kung Fu, and then Kung
He's
Fu.
done
The
movies.
Legend
The
continues
Legend
on
continues.
WPWR.
Yeah.
But for me, this was like my exposure to him, and so at the time, I don't know who this guy is. I know the last name. I've heard of the last name at the time. He's so great that I saw like that he wasn't the first choice. He was actually recommended by Warren Beatty, who was the first choice.
I can't imagine that Quentin Tarantino didn't want him.
I saw it over and over again. Yeah, Warren Beatty didn't like the story for him necessarily, but he recommended Carradine.
It's because Quentin Tarantino wanted Keith Carradine.
Like he talks about the Shaolin monks. That's definitely a reference to Kung Fu.
Yeah,
I used to watch
the
that
way
show.
that they present Bill too, especially in the first one. You don't see him outside of a hand on a sword. You hear his voice, which is also just perfect. The way that it's presented, it is and then having him. I don't know. I agree. It is out. It's perfect in my regard, and also
waving the flute around, telling the story, or whatever that instrument is. That's how she knows he's out there, because it's just there's little touches in this movie or in these movies, that are really good.
We should talk about who
Before we move on the Carradines, do you know like the Carradine lineage?
No, but I thought it was David to Keith.
And Robert,
I don't know who Robert is.
Revenge of the Nerds. That's their brother.
Which one?
The main nerd.
Skolnick or whatever?
Skolnick. That's Robert Carradine.
That's David Carradine's son.
No, that's his brother.
No way.
Yes. Keith, Robert, David. Keith Carradine is Martha Plimpton's dad.
Okay.
And then I believe David Carradine's daughter is Ever.
This is a dynasty. So wait, you're saying Robert Carradine and
Keith and David are all brothers.
but all the Carradines are brothers.
oh, I thought for some reason thought they were.
The Plimpton is a daughter / niece.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, because Keith does kind of look like Plimpton, I think.
Yeah. It's a long lineage. It's much like the Redgraves and the Richardsons,
Sure.
as we were talking before.
I love Carradine in this, but I love someone else in that role more, and that's Uma. I am infatuated with Uma
Yeah.
in these movies. It's obviously aware of her. I know she had quite the intro to the zeitgeist with Pulp Fiction, but I don't know. She's some sort of perfect in this, in my opinion.
Is there any connection, like a through line through any of his films? Because I feel like in Pulp Fiction,
There's some. I know there's like what do you want to say? Call them like not conspiracy theories, but
Yeah.
like fan theories of like
fan theories.
who is who, including in this movie, by the way. Like there's a fan theory that Jules is actually Rufus because he in Pulp said he wants to be he wants to go wander like the earth, and this guy's like, oh, I've wandered all over the place, and so
played with all the different
I
bands.
think it's Tarantino just continually making references and things to all of these movies, and so
Well, speaking of, the reason why I thought he definitely wanted David Carradine is because he said, like Kane on Kung Fu, Walk the Earth. That's David Carradine's show.
yeah.
So he references, in Pulp Fiction.
It's nonstop, and that's where I think it's easy for the fans to kind of tie very, very, very loose ends together and say, "Oh, look, this could be that," because you can't dispute it because they're like, "Oh, sure, there is a little bit of this that connects a little bit of that," and yes, you have Uma and
the Fox Force 5, wasn't that from Pulp Fiction? Or she was talking about the show.
Yeah, that's right. And this is the Deadliest. Yeah,
The Deadly Five.
Kind of that.
The Divas.
Yeah, I kind of forgot about that. I've seen that years ago. I totally forgot how it totally fits because the way she describes them is
there's a lot of I think fan theories in
And the
terms of, like,
Vegas, right? Vincent Vega is in Pulp Fiction, and then I think what Michael Madsen's character is a Vega. Yeah, well, and in Reservoir Dogs, he's a Vega brother or something too.
There's just little things in each movie that you can say, "Oh, it's so and so." And then go ahead.
I don't want to go back to the Carradines, but I am. Michael Bowen, so Buck with the Pussy Wagon, that's a brother
Yes,
too.
well,
He's a Carradine brother. It says.
It says, I think what it is him and Bill.
Yeah.
In real life, they literally share 3 siblings.
Yeah.
But none of them are like like 3 separate siblings. But it's like
They're all listed as siblings.
Yeah,
And
but-
he's the guy in Breaking Bad too. I didn't realize that. He's like the Nazi guy at the end.
oh really?
Yeah. I didn't realize it. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that little tidbit as well. But yeah, in my opinion, Uma, just like this is kind of what I think of when I think of Uma Thurman. It is Kill Bill. To me, it is. This is everything.
Not Dangerous Liaisons.
Gattaca?
Love Gattaca.
It's Kill Bills for me.
It's Kill Bills for sure. And yeah, you were fawning over her earlier. I agree. Yeah, I think I don't think at the time I realized how much, but I think she's great.
Yeah.
I think I like her more now.
Well, she's just strikingly gorgeous, which is fine. There's plenty of
How
actresses.
about her
that
feet
hour.
though? Are you in love with her feet as much as Quentin is?
She's got the longer second toe, which is I'm a big proponent of. Brady family has rocks that
I
trait.
feel like everybody has that.
It's not 100%, but I've
There's a
been
lot.
pointed out to me that I have one.
It's just so funny how, it's a known thing, and then you go back to his movies and you're like, oh, she's barefoot. Oh, she's trying to wiggle her big toe.
Yep, Piggly Wigglies. But on top of that, then you have Lucy Liu as Oshi Ren.
You picked the right next person to talk about.
It's just she's perfect.
Yeah.
as well. And we talked in one of the many episodes ago. I don't know that I cared anything about her, yay or nay, for a long time, and then we saw her in Lucky Number 11, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, she was great," and she's equally great in this, which I've known, but
Sometimes when we get older, we just appreciate things more.
that's definitely right. That's definitely fair. But that whole chapter, right? Like I would say maybe one of the more known things from this movie is the
Crazy 88.
the Crazy 88's the battle.
Yeah. Do you love? I don't know. I feel like that was the one thing where it kind of went a little long. Maybe not the first time, and maybe not in the theater, but just
It's
watching
long.
it again, I'm like, all right, I know where it's going.
Yeah, it's because
a lot of blood. And
he hates a choreographed.
I do. I
doesn't
don't
want
really
a
care about it.
choreographed
So like I
dance.
said, that's why I like Volume 2 better. I love the dialogue. That's what I've always loved about Tarantino.
For me, it's just this is a good nod to these. It's full
And
on.
I'm fine with it as the whole. Like we said, he's doing nods right to each genre, and that was the one for those types of movies where it's one person against 100.
I also particularly enjoyed that when they showed her backstory, that they did it in the anime
Yeah,
version.
that was great too.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I don't know, like the jumping around from that was just so I could see it being poorly executed by so many people, and it just feels the exact opposite. For Tarantino, just seems to have such a good feel for like how to do that, when to do it, and they just did it absolutely perfect.
So I have a good question for you. What did you guys watch? Did you watch the Whole Bloody Affair, or did you watch Volume 1?
I have
and
never
Volume 2?
seen The Whole Bloody Affair, which for those that don't know is a linear.
It's not.
Oh, it's not.
So I started watching the whole bloody affair. It's exactly the same. They only cut out the ending of volume 1 where he says, or does she know?
Buck is talking to Bill.
Is it Buck? Who's Bud?
Bud, sorry.
Yeah, when he says, does she know that her kid is still alive? They don't say that part, so they just skip over, which makes the reveal at the end way bigger.
Right.
And
Which
then
is
the
also
only
a
other
really
thing
good
that they
scene.
do, they don't in volume 1.
So it's not
the Crazy 88s. They switch to black and white when she snatches his eye out, and it goes to black and white. You guys saw it that way?
No,
Probably?
they don't do that.
They don't do
They don't
that.
show the Crazy 88's part where she does that. The first eye snatch is against Elle Danger in the real movie.
Okay.
I
They
read-
show it in the end at like a.
I read about it
post-cut
afterwards.
scene.
Yeah, it's not in the
too.
actual movie. So the first time you
No,
get,
I checked it.
I'm telling you, I just watched them. But
I just watched it
The
too.
first eye grab is not until Elle Danger in Volume 2.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, then where did I see it?
Well, I assume you're saying it's in the Whole Bloody Affair. They must have put it is in there.
No, because I thought it was in volume 1 where it actually switches black and white.
That's where
whereas
the fight
Whole
is.
Bloody Affair, they do it all in color. They don't do any of the black and white.
No, because in the
You're opposite.
volume 1,
Let me ask you this: was there black and white in volume 1?
For that fight?
Yeah,
No.
no, it was all in color.
Yeah.
it was all in color.
Yeah.
When you guys saw it.
Because you see like Charlie Brown leave.
Yeah, Charlie Brown's wearing yellow and it's
Right. And then
Okay.
all the water changes to bloody.
Yep,
when
the
they
water's
drop in.
red. It's all in color. It doesn't happen.
Okay,
But it does exist.
I watched it on Peacock.
Me too.
All right, I don't know. That's what they said. The only difference is that the Whole Bloody Affair does it all. in
So
color.
I thought the Whole
but it's
Bloody
not linear. That's why I started that, because I wanted to watch
Yeah.
it in a linear way.
I was going
But
to
it's-
watch both or
yeah,
all
yeah,
three.
that
no,
would've
I
been-
mean, you did. Yeah, there's nothing.
That would have been interesting if they had recut it to make it linear.
That's what I thought.
Yeah,
That was the point.
Yeah.
Instead of jumping around, it was essentially
Which there is a
straight
version
through
of
movie.
Nolan's Memento where they do it that way.
and it sucks.
You know, it's kind of cool.
Oh, okay.
It's definitely an interesting way to watch because yeah, it works totally. Not this. It doesn't have the same effect, but when you know the story, it helps you kind of understand it a little bit better. But yeah, this would have been interesting too. But yeah, they don't really do anything. They just kind of make it one long movie. I guess maybe just easier to show it in a movie theater. I don't know, or maybe they never do it this way.
Well, the original thought was to have a 4-hour movie. So I think the original was probably that, right? That was
Okay.
the original vision. And the
is
Weinstein.
it authorized? Like
I don't know. I've
okay.
still never seen it.
No,
I know
I
it-
just didn't know if Quentin okayed it.
It's much like Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. It's the original cut.
Original cut, 4 hours of extra footage.
Right. My question is, was this the first revenge genre film? Like, not the first, but like starting that trend? Because the year after Volume 1 comes out and Volume 2, then you get Man on Fire.
Well, I'm assuming that all the nods.
Man
to
on
these-
Fire was a remake of a 60s movie.
Right.
I think this is really a nod to endless movies that came before. it.
And
Endless
I'm pretty
revenge
sure
films?
Bud had a Mr. Majestic poster on the wall, which is a Charles Bronson.
I saw the Bronson. I didn't
yeah.
see what movie it was, though.
That's another shitty one.
And what's the one that Death Wish is a big revenge
Yeah.
movie. So I think I'm pretty sure Quentin.
So
is
no,
a
you could
big
just say
fan.
no.
How about no?
A simple no would have sufficed.
But I think to what you're trying to get at is, did this repopularize revenge movies? Probably.
Well, I'm sure the success definitely
Yeah.
was going to spawn
You know,
imitation.
just like we're going to get a bunch of more movies about documentaries about physicists or biographies about physicists.
You'll get there.
Like Oppenheimer. Once it makes a big splash.
well, we've already done Hawking.
Yeah.
Who else is left?
Well, there was a lot of them in that movie.
Einstein.
There was a lot of them in that movie.
There
They
were,
already
yeah.
did Einstein.
We could do
IQ.
Niels Bohr.
They did IQ with Tim Robbins.
That's right. That was back in the day.
So I was curious about is it really that much tamer to hide blood by showing it in black and white? Am I supposed to somehow know that, like, that's supposed to make it more censorable or more appease the
Critics,
The-
censors.
the censors and the level of, like, where it falls? Because you can only show so much blood before essentially it moves up from PG-13, R, and all that. And the black and white is supposed to kind of
Oh, was that part of the reason why?
yeah. And I've heard that before, but it's not hard to understand that she's a bloody, battered bride on the ground when there's black all over her and her dress. Like, that's blood.
Right.
Do I need it to be red in order to know that it's blood? I don't.
I didn't. I got that.
Also, what a great start. Like, literally, the scene is just, the movie begins, and that's what you get.
Yeah.
The star of what you know, getting shot in the head.
And then it goes right into a fight scene with Vivica Fox.
Not right in,
No?
but close.
Felt like it was pretty
close.
Because there
She
is
gets out
something.
of the car.
They go to chapter 2 right off the bat.
Right.
Well, that's chapter 1, technically, which is called 2.
Right.
Because she's.
Well, what else happens in between? I don't really remember.
You have what I consider a great. We got to talk about the score of these movies because, in my opinion, it's
All the sound.
amazing across the board. The
Yeah, where does he
songs.
pull?
So after the
Oh, the whistling is what you're
after
saying.
the very clever Bill handkerchief that is wiping her clean, very cleverly showing Bill again in the beginning, which is also just a chef's kiss. The Nancy Sinatra "Bang Bang" song has just. I've always since then that song was so perfectly placed. It's like, oh, that's Kill Bill. You're not wrong. The whistle, the El Danger whistle, is also very Kill Bill.
What is that from? Because it's not. It's from a show or something, right?
It is. I saw. I didn't take it down. It is from another movie or show.
Yeah.
And it's.
But it's very sinister sounding,
well,
right?
And you see Daryl Hannah back from the dead. I suppose I don't know where she came from, but she's just perfectly whistling it right into the actual song when she goes into the other room. Just all of the music along the way is just great. And RZA, I know, was the primary, I think,
Yeah. Like a primary composer.
for this. It said Robert Rodriguez did as well. I don't really know the ins and outs of how they share that.
And that
role,
just that sound whenever she sees someone that she wants to kill or is going to kill. That,
Which is from the closed captioning was great because it would tell you like the name of the song. It was just like, oh yeah, no, there's a reason behind all of it. But I really over and over again, I'm like, wow, the music was fantastic. For like, oh, the score for this is great. Like I have that all over my notes because I just felt like I looked no love.
Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to fuck with.
It got no love from any of the so-called experts.
Yeah.
So when you mentioned that, because I'll get back to this in a second, but you know that's the beat that Wyclef created for Maria.
Yeah. Everyone knew that.
Yeah,
I didn't just watch it on a video that you shared it with me today. I knew that all along.
Yeah. big Wu-Tang fan Wyclef is. But yeah, like this, I guess this is one of the times when I first, as you grow and you learn a bit more about people and their musical tastes and things like that, you're like, oh, they're not just pigeonholed into like one genre. Like musicians listen to like everything and they take influences from everything.
The
like,
good ones.
Yeah, like you listen to like Dave Grohl and talk about the stuff that he does, and he's like, "Yeah, I listen to all the funk and soul and all that stuff, and stole all the drums and everything." He's like, "Because I can't do that, so I just found somebody else."
He went
that
up
could.
to like the guy in I think the Gap band, and he's like, he's like that rhythm or the intro to "Smells Like Teen Spirit" is straight up from your band. And he's like, "Yeah, I know." He's like, "I've been listening to that for years. I knew it all along. That was mine." It's like, yep.
So then when you find out that RZA was, like you said, Brady, one of the composers on here, and just,
At the time, I remember thinking that was really, really cool.
Right. And then all of the influences from all of the Kung Fu movies
Massive
that they
Kung Fu
watch.
fan.
Right. That they watch. But then also pulling in, like, Isaac Hayes, and then the Green Hornet, and Quincy Jones, and Nancy Sinatra, and you're just like, how does your brain even function on that level to say, yeah, all these songs will melt perfectly and they'll be fine for every scene that I see coming up here.
Like you could just see RZA and Quentin Tarantino geeking out over it, right? Is what you're saying. And they both love Kung Fu movies, right? So they're talking about it.
Well,
and speaking of which, we were talking about Kung Fu.
Don't veer, because I have a RZA thing.
Yeah, okay. Bruce Lee was supposed to be the original before David Carradine, but I think David Carradine got it instead of Bruce Lee for the show. Go back to RZA.
Go ahead and veer. No, RZA was. It said RZA was originally brought in by Tarantino to help him find sound effects from kung fu films to use because Tarantino felt RZA's knowledge of that genre was on his level. And his large library of sound effects music from those films, which he utilizes when producing Wu-Tang albums, helped him find kind of what he was looking for and eventually involved with him creating original music for the film as well.
That clip, the clip that when they're watching the movie in part 2, when she watches Shogun Assassin before bed, that's the intro to Liquid Swords.
Mm-hmm.
GZA's Liquid Swords. And it's just like, I mean, that one is just one that I've heard so many times that, I love it. It's such a great intro to a song.
Have you ever seen Shogun Assassin?
I have not.
I looked
seen
it up,
Shogun
and it was
Assassin.
like apparently it was banned for a while or something. I don't know know why. I tried trying to figure out what it said, but
It killed 131 lords. That's probably
too
why.
many kids watching it before bed.
Right.
it's too long. No, it isn't.
That was great. I'll be honest. And so obviously, as the viewer after the end of season, end of 1, that we all find out that all of a sudden the daughter is alive, right? And so that going in. Sorry, go ahead, Martin. You seem
How?
Yeah, fair.
How?
Fair.
I
Well,
never
she
really
wasn't
thought about it.
Dead.
Don't question.
But, okay, but how did Bill get her then? Like, if they birthed the baby or pulled it out of her in a coma, like the hospital had the baby. How did Bill raise her?
Dad.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Did you do a paternity? Okay, I guess that works.
Biologically.
He comes over and says, I didn't shoot her in the head, but I'll take the baby because it's mine. Yeah, maybe. Or he
Maybe.
found a way to adopt
I mean,
her.
El Paso's kind of a desolate town. Maybe
Yeah.
he just paid somebody off to say, give me the child.
Yeah. And how far along was she?
4 months.
Yeah.
I think it was said.
So 4-month-old
Yeah.
preemie baby
I don't know.
surviving? Let's not look into it too much.
I think that's ship sailed. I thought, I was cool with it. All right, he got her.
Yeah, it worked. Somehow, let's not think about
But
it too
when
much.
when she does see her in 2, and like that first,
good.
oh my gosh, just
Such a good scene. That's what I was saying.
yeah.
Like, I remember looking over when the last chapter, it's like, okay, the last chapter,
Face
there's still like
to
an
face.
hour left,
Yeah.
right? And I'm like, oh, wow, they really do. But it's all amazing. Like, that's like my favorite hour, I think, of the whole movie.
It's
so
really good. And same, I knew there was a decent amount of time left, and
None of it's wasted.
Mary
Making
had-
that sandwich.
Mary had like come into the room and was like doing, or in the next room was doing something, and every time I looked over, she was just like looking at the TV, and I didn't know if she'd ever seen it or not, but I knew there was going to be no way if you were peeking it that you were going to just be able to turn off your interest because it's just really, really good, despite scenes and such that she would maybe not always be that into. Because there's so much heart throughout it, and then you get into that aspect of a mom, and it's great. You said to make it a sandwich. I would argue, all of his like soliloquies. Jelani, are you okay with the Batman, Superman?
You know what? That's Tarantino's comic book nerddom
Totally,
coming
right?
through.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's fine. It's
I thought of you.
a little slanderous, but I'll allow it.
It's a great analogy for what's being said at the time, and
Yeah, Quentin's great at those, right? Like in the beginning of Reservoir Dogs, he talks about Madonna and what Like a Virgin's about. It's about big dicks.
He famously is the one that rewrote the scene. There's a fight scene in Crimson Tide, and the two characters they get into a fight and they're arguing about Silver Surfer, and that's the line, or that's the scene that he wrote and like gave a little speech to. And it's funny because him and Denzel went back and forth on it. Denzel had some issues with Quentin Tarantino. Maybe the use of the N-word came up. But yeah, you were saying.
no, it was that to Martin's point. I mean, it's a great. Nothing's wasted in that last hour. There's so much, and you have a full.
Except the crust of that bread.
There's
He cut a little for being a precise swordsman.
Should have brought the
I think you
Tori
don't have to
Hanzo on
waste
that one.
that much of the meat and the bread, but whatever.
Yeah, I'm on the whatever side of that.
We're nitpicking over here.
You really are. I feels
You don't toast the bimbo bread?
You
Come
don't
on, now.
toast it. Come on, you got to toast the bread. Kids don't like toasted bread. It's okay.
My kids eat toast every morning, and they love toasted bread.
I cut you off earlier. Vivica was
Yeah.
the first.
Yeah.
Love Vivica.
I mean, how could you not? Looking good in that.
Vivica had a
tracksuit.
moment in those 90s for sure.
Just ready to go.
And again, right out of the gate, you have an onslaught,
And then they pause, and you're never quite sure.
sweat and blood as the daughter's standing there asking her what's going on.
Yeah, you're never quite sure, like when she is going to pull something, or if or either one of them. But yeah, it's fun.
I saw one note where Tarantino said if he ever made a third, sorry, Johnny, it would not be a prequel explaining.
I would want a prequel too. I'm with you.
It would be Vivica's daughter
coming back for revenge to
That's
find
fun
her.
too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if that's what it would be.
That is cool, and I do like the way
Yeah, it's
what
handled
she
well.
says to her. Yeah, she's like, "Hey, she had it coming, but if you ever feel if you still feel sore about it or whatever,
Feel sore about it.
Come and find me. How many of those Hattori Hanzo swords would you like? Wouldn't you just take them with you? Like after you finish everybody off?
What are you talking about?
She took hers after she fought. So,
Well, there were only two, right? Bud's and hers.
but didn't
I don't
Didn't
think
Elle have
Elle
one?
ever had. Did she have one?
No, she was going to take Bud's or the one she was
Right,
going to take.
she was gonna
Beatrice.
by
And-
by
okay?
kiddos.
And then does Bill have one?
Bill,
Yeah, he has one right when you walk in.
yeah,
Yeah, sitting right there on the thing
yeah,
So there were three out in
Three.
the world that you knew of.
that you know of.
and then he has all the ones that are in
Yeah,
his
on the
personal
wall, which are
collection
not
there.
to be
Yeah.
given out.
Did you guys see the logo on there?
I couldn't
Yeah,
remember if
what
it was
was
like
it?
a cat or a tiger or something.
Well, that was the tiger, but there's like a 3-pronged logo on the sword, like on the sheath. And
Okay,
if
I
you-
saw that too, but I
Yeah.
don't know what it was.
So it's just funny because that very similar to the Kobe Bryant logo. So Kobe
Black Mamba.
Kobe watched this movie and then did a whole bunch of research on like the Black Mamba and stuff like that, and then kind of like adopted it. So his like logo, like Jordan's got the Jumpman logo, but the Kobe logo is very similar to the Hattori Hanzo logo, and that's
And
kind
Black
of
Mamba is-
Black
yeah.
Mamba is what he modeled his like idea after seeing this film. Yeah.
Okay,
There you
Can
go.
see it. Did
Another
not,
layer,
Yeah.
did not know that.
layer to
That
the
makes
lore.
sense. And yeah, the all of them being snakes names, and I saw even some. I think what was L.
California mountain snake.
So
She
that
had
one's
the worst one for sure.
Yeah.
but that one is
Colorado?
like known to strike other snakes, I think. And so they're all like there was more. It was
There's a
layered
reason for each one.
There was a layered reason for each person to have their own name.
Yeah. So
And I think
Beatrix was Black Mamba.
Cottonmouth
Vivica should have been
was
Black
Oren.
Mamba.
Oren was
Cottonmouth. Vivica was which one?
Vivica was oh shit!
Viper?
Wow, I did not write that down for some reason, even though I did have it.
Bud was Sidewinder,
Mm-hmm.
which makes sense because when he's out in the desert.
Cottonmouth was
Ren.
Lucy Liu.
Yeah. And then
But there was a calculated
California mountain
reason
snake.
behind all of
Yeah.
them, and then whatever Bill's was like the snake wrangler,
Yeah. Snake Charmer or something.
something like that, which makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Did you notice in the beginning, or even at the end, it said like based on the character of the bride created by Q and U?
Yeah.
That was literally Uma and Quentin came up with the kind of the early story of that, and so that was the genesis of that, which I thought was kind of interesting.
Copperhead. Bernetta Green, Copperhead.
I should have been Black Mamba.
And then L Danger. Coming
Dude.
to
So seriously, I didn't even look her up. That Daryl Hannah, I feel like had been out of the world for.
Yeah, that's what he does, right? He brings John Travolta's career back to life. Pam Grier and
Unfortunately.
Jackie Brown, Daryl Hannah and Kill Bill.
Yeah.
I don't know if she did anything after this, but yeah, he likes people.
Who,
from his
Daryl
era.
Hannah?
Yeah,
she married Neil Young.
but like, did she do movies after this?
Oh, you mean just like in movies? Sorry, I thought you meant like in her life,
Yeah.
personal life. She's definitely done some more stuff. Yeah, honestly, she's done a lot. I just don't think they're really great. But I guess it depends on what you're asking. Did she do anything worthwhile, or
I think kind of like along the lines I was saying about the prequel and stuff like that. Like, I think that's the stuff that I feel like he could have expounded more on. Like, because she lost her eye when she went to visit Pai Mei, right?
which you don't know until
Until they have their fight.
or halfway through season 2,
Right.
which is presented well, by the way.
Season 2.
Also helps. Also helps the jumping around aspect, right?
Yeah.
Like cut back to show that, and even catching the Bill saying, like, if you even hint,
Right. Don't sass her.
Right.
like,
But like that, like remember he said like he said to Beatrix like you're gonna be here. Don't say anything for the first year at least.
Right.
It's like okay, so that was a year that she was building up to that. So was it 2 years, 3 years? How long did she train under Pai Mei? Then was she part of the squad and then Daryl Hannah went and trained and then the squad became
seems like it because she killed him.
Yeah, it has to have gone after.
Well, right, she went after, but like was she already killing with them and then they're like, "Oh, take a sabbatical and go." I just want to know.
Think so hard about this stuff.
I think he trained. They kept adding people to it. I don't know.
Yeah. But then they weren't the 5, so now
Right.
Who?
or did they replace somebody?
Why did they have to be 5?
Well, now they're all dead.
Well, the Viper Squad, I should say.
Right, there was no number associated with it. It was just the Divas.
It's the Fox Force 5.
Fox Force
Gotta
5,
have it.
yeah.
That's your thing, though. You made
That's
it.
Quentin's thing. He started it.
Right, but you tied these loose threads together.
I'm
to try
tying
to-
all of them. Got all the strings. Don't worry, I'm pulling them all. I don't know. I would love to delve into the world a little bit more, but
I don't know what's stopping you.
Loved the whole training. That the master Pai Mei
Yeah.
was just great with the beard thing and
Oh, yeah. Very over the top.
I love a good like training part of
A training montage?
Yeah, I was gonna say it's not a montage, but yes, like in Bloodsport or really any Jean-Claude Van Damme movie has just the like Kickboxer or whatever. I kind of wanted to see the Hanzo sword like. It was just like
Being
1 month
forged.
later. Yeah, I kind of wanted to see a little, like just 2 scenes of him, like
Putting it
polishing
in,
it,
folding the iron,
something, not
folding
just
the
handing
steel
it.
over.
Yeah, something like that. Which I'm surprised. I don't know. I would have felt like Quentin would have taken the time or taken advantage of that and being like showing them making it. But not that this movie needed to be longer.
I think that's right. So, on the level of where Bud is in El Paso,
Yes,
right? He is a bouncer at a titty club in El Paso, which is for some reason where Uma decided to get married. Of all the places in the world, it's literally in that same place. And then when she gets caught there, Bud drives all the way to Barstow, California. I was confused
I don't know.
to barrier.
because that's what
Oh.
Elle says when she calls him. She's like,
sure.
if you're ever in Barstow, go to a flower
I didn't
shop.
even think about it.
Barstow's not really that close to El Paso in
Why
any
did
way,
you pick
shape, or
that
form.
grave?
Right.
Is there something significant to that name?
That's it threw me.
You didn't
Yeah.
find anything?
No, there's really not, other than it comes up again later. I think in Django, Paul Schultz comes
Okay.
back up. But
Yeah.
like I don't know. The Barstow thing stuck out to me as a random thing that I couldn't really put
Yeah,
two and two
it's
together.
not close.
No.
It's not like it's New Mexico.
Because when she said it, I was like, is Bud in California? I thought he said I was in El Paso. I was like, what the hell would you...
and then she comes all the way back to
Back to El
I
Paso.
thought that was just down the road.
You're right.
Yeah. I don't know.
Maybe there's a Barstow, Texas.
No, she says Barstow, California. So, anyway, that was a... also, sorry. Johnny, go ahead, or else I'll just keep rambling.
The church she gets married in is the Two Pines Chapel in El Paso. There was only one pine out front. Did it get hit by a DeLorean?
Yeah, that's great. That's where I was hoping you were going with it. Absolutely.
I'm like, there's only
In
one pine.
1964, whatever year it was.
Should have been the single pine. Lone Pine.
Lone
Chapel.
Pine Mall.
Lone Pine Chapel. The shotgun to the chest.
Rock
Yeah,
salt.
and then she was fine.
Well,
Well,
I mean,
it wasn't. It wasn't.
It was rock salt.
It was rock
wasn't-
salt. It
No, I
wasn't.
understand. She was bloodied, and then all of a sudden she's in the coffin, and she's fine.
As he said, your tits would be hurting. I will say, yeah, it does seem to be worn off.
Well, whatever.
The pain seems to be worn off by the time that she's got to,
Punch her way
But
out.
that was just a great scene, right? Like they go back to the training montage, training not montage, but training scenes, and then
where she's learning to.
she's learning how
a
to
3-inch
how to
attack,
be- yeah.
essentially.
What if your enemy's 3 inches in front of you, and then that's how she gets out. It's just great,
really
Yeah.
good.
There's lots of little things like that, and the 5-finger.
And then she just vaults her way through the dirt onslaught up to the top.
Why
of
do you
the-
think that Pai Mei only taught the 5-finger
Death punch.
death punch? Is that
I
what
think she just had
Five finger exploding heart palm technique.
There you go. That sounds more right.
It was definitely not 5-point palm exploding heart technique.
Okay.
Yeah, there was nothing clear as to why it was named. But
There's a band called Five Finger Death Punch. That's why I keep going back to that.
I think she just had it. I think that was always the thing. I think it's the same reason Bill was enamored with her. I think
he knew she was the it girl.
Yeah.
Even though he hates women.
But I think it was enough she had,
maybe she was the best.
She just sat and got essentially belittled by him and just focused on doing what she could. And it's almost,
I'll buy that.
Maybe an honor or impressive
It's
thing.
Uma.
It's Uma.
How could you not teach her?
Maybe Padme sucked his thumb when he went to a drive-in when he was a little boy. Saw Lana Turner.
Michael Parks.
I don't know what should I know him?
So we talked about him in From Dusk Till Dawn.
Oh, really?
Because he was in it for a little bit, and then he plays two characters in these movies.
Well, he wasn't supposed to play this, and whoever they picked, I didn't take this note down, but it was a much more popular, like, older Hispanic actor, and he missed it that day, and so Michael Parks read it, and Tarantino was like, "You're
he
in."
nailed it, yeah.
But
he was the cop in Volume 1, and then he was.
Oh, so he was the cop.
He was also the cop in, like you said,
Dusk Till
Dawn.
That's the same guy.
Same guy. Wow. Unless I'm wrong.
No, I think you're
right. I'm pretty sure
crazy.
Because and if you watch the end credits, it said Michael Parks, and it said Michael Parks. And I was like, played two characters.
Interesting.
No, he wasn't the same character.
No, different characters, but they showed him on the end credits twice. Is what I'm thinking.
No, I thought there was two different. I thought there were two guys. That
Michael
were
Parks
related.
played Earl McGraw, and definitely played the guy at the end. Earl McGraw was the cop, and also it's the same name in Dusk Till Dawn. When you talk about lineage of things,
there you go.
Because I remember I brought that up in Dusk Till Dawn. They're like,
Yes.
he's actually plays this character in more than one.
He's Esteban Viejo.
Yeah,
Michael Parks,
same guy.
and Texas Ranger Earl McGraw.
Right, but
the first one was a different character. So what are you saying?
Yeah, what are you hung up on?
I thought you were talking about the guy who was like, oh yeah, they shot all of these people, and then the one that has the glasses, Michael Parks, goes down and looks. He goes, "Son, she's not dead."
That's Michael Parks.
Right. I thought you were talking about the guy that's standing over his shoulder. Is also Michael.
Oh, that's his son.
That's his son.
Literal son.
That's
James
what I thought.
Parks.
James Parks.
James
yeah.
Parks, yeah.
I was like, that's guy is way younger. It's not the same actor, Martin.
No. Yeah.
Johnny's drunk tonight.
But why did she leave the Deadly Assassin Viper Squad?
The only thing I want to know is when did she leave? Why?
Yeah, what was
Well,
the
I guess we'll
catalyst?
never know.
Leaving us hanging, Quentin. Don't leave us hanging.
For BB. What a cute name, BB.
BB.
For a daughter.
Yeah, Bill and Beatrix,
Yeah.
silly rabbit.
Yeah, what do you make of the cutting out her name, like not saying it until the end?
You know, I don't know if I like it.
You just
I think
you just didn't want to know that kiddo, like when he calls her kiddo, you think he's just being playful, but then it's actually her name.
Yeah,
it's kind of like a funny thing, or
I don't know. I think it's. I
tried
feel
to
like
look it
there's
up,
a
I
chance they tried too hard to make that particular thing be interesting. I see no negative to her name being said throughout the first movie.
Yeah.
If this is Beatrix, I see no reason like that changes anything.
I feel like people just do it now. Like, sorry to bother you. We did that a few weeks ago, and
yeah.
Is it something because Beatrix Kiddo is the exact opposite initials of Kill Bill? BK, KB.
I don't know.
I don't think
Could
so.
be.
I don't
But
know.
I don't. Yeah, I don't really have a great reason other than it said somewhere that some movies that that Quentin might love have done that, so he might just wanted to throw that in there or something and have it to be a little bit of it just wasn't as big of like a reveal that you would think that he would need to do it, but all good. Didn't bother me.
No.
If you were if you worked in a record store and were quote unquote very fond of music, do you think you'd have a hard time having a song for your wedding?
I thought the same exact thing, but he's just like, we don't have a song. He's like, Love Me Tender? Sure. I think he would be like, I have a favorite song.
I can give you 100 that you can play right now.
Right.
It seemed like
he just didn't
a
care.
miss.
He's just, that was kind of the point. He was just supposed to be a dope.
Yeah.
And I thought they played that really well too, because you could see the anger, the seething anger in Bill. You know, just trying to keep it together when the guy's talking to him. He's like, "Oh, it's my," and she's like, "My dad," and he's just like, you could see it that he's angry. He's not cool with the whole situation. Yeah.
Yeah. God, that's really so well done.
It really was.
I don't know. I personally, I'll have to rewatch some of these other Tarantino movies, especially some of the more recent ones. I don't know. I think Kill Bill's pretty high on his list for me.
I think so too.
Yeah, maybe that's not weird. But I just don't think it's always thought of that way. Maybe it's just because when he has a movie, it just feels like it's its own world. But
Yeah.
Did we miss any, or did we go through them all?
yeah, I think so.
Death Proof, Grindhouse, Django, Hateful Eight. Yeah, have you guys seen Hateful Eight?
I did, and I think it was a swing and a miss as well.
I just remember being very excited going to the theater for it, and it was supposed to be shot in like this, whatever, like CinemaScope or like very wide lens, and it was all done in like indoors. I'm like, why wouldn't they make it like Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, where you're like, wow, look at this big, vast, open outdoorsness, and it was just all shot inside. I'm like, why even say that it's going to be shot that way if it's just all in indoors.
a room?
Yeah,
In a room, yeah.
and then one of the most recent is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood,
And that one was good.
which was really, really good. Yeah, and you touched on it. I saw Django in the theater, but I remember thinking it was pretty great. I think if I remember anything from that, it's Leo in his role, but also Christopher Waltz again was just unbelievably great in that.
Yeah, Inglourious Bastards is
And yes, obviously from Inglourious Bastards as well. But you almost disappointed me to find out that Whole Bloody Affair is not actually the linear version.
Sorry.
I mean, you didn't do it. I just feel like it's.
I know, but as I was
I
watching
blame
it,
you.
I'm like, I don't think this is what Brady thinks it is. So I was going to ask you about it beforehand, but I didn't want to. I don't know. Discuss anything before we recorded.
Save it for the pod.
I saved it for the pod.
Yeah,
But I thought you would at least check it out.
it was my plan to watch both and then do that
But
because
you
I
don't
thought
have
I
to
would
do
get the
anything.
linear version, and I would have been very disappointed.
Yeah.
Like, hold on, I just watched this.
Waiting, and that's what I did. I was waiting for something to be different. And then when it wasn't after the whole first movie and it went right into chapter 6, I'm like, all right, I'm going to check if there's anything different. And there wasn't. So I watched volume 2. Regular.
As always, revenge is never a straight line. It's a forest. And like a forest, it's easy to lose your way, to get lost, to forget where you came in. But don't forget to subscribe to our Film Fathers podcast, wherever you listen. Thanks, and go to bed.
Nice vibrato there. Then go up a key.